that's a lot deeper than I expected. Hey guys, this is Jeremy here with my new review of Arrival. Now, I'm very interested in seeing this movie because of the director Denis Villeneuve. He's a fantastic Canadian director, and the guy is never getting as much acclaim as he should. He's had basically three hits in a row previous to this film with Prisoners, Sicario, and Enemy. And I actually saw a lot of Enemy in this movie. Arrival is about first contact with this species that just appears in the sky in several locations around the world, and we're following Amy Adams, who's a linguist, and that's what this film is about. It's all about first contact and how would we communicate with a species that has no comprehension of how our language structure works. Whenever you're trying to learn a new language, say for my instance French, there are certain verbs and pronouns that are actually reverse. Say instead of I say I see a green tree, you would say it I see tree green in French. I'm not very good at French, but I do remember the structure of certain words. So if it's that different just from one language to another that we speak, imagine how it would be for going to speaking to an entity that has absolutely no comprehension of what our language is. And that's what I liked about this film. It was about an entire construction, deconstruction, and reassemble of a language. Amy Adams, throughout this whole time, we're actually seeing a character that not only is struggling with trying to communicate with these aliens, but she's also basically consulting herself with her own grief of an event in her life. And throughout the whole movie, you're kind of going back, you're wondering why there's so much focus on the grief. Why is this an apparent factor? And it's in the end that you actually realize that everything is connected to itself. And this movie does have a bit of a whoa moment, like from Enemy. Not as bad. Admittedly, there is a part that's straight out of the ending from Enemy, but there is a you can't walk into this movie just expecting it to be laying it out all for you. You have to be able to open up your mind and realize that there is some turning to it. There is some depth into this film. The one thing is, though, the film is moving slow enough along, and this isn't an issue with the film. But it does move slow enough along that you can actually follow along with it as long as you're paying attention. And that's the thing that this film does have a good point with, but it also does a bit detract for, is that this movie is a slow burn. Like, I've said that before in a few of my reviews, but it literally is a slow burn. Throughout the entire film, you feel every minute. It's very well shot, because I believe how the DOP shot this film is, there's a lot of parts where the film is following behind Amy Adams, and she's in focus, but everything around her is out of focus. And I have a feeling that's her representation of grief, is that when you're walking around and dispelling this feeling of grief, is that you don't see anything. When you are upset or depressed, things fade. You don't focus. But it's when she goes into the shell and starts communicating with the aliens that the camera and everything else comes into focus. So a purpose in your life is what brings out the inner you. And again, I did enjoy this movie. I don't know if I'll ever see it again, though. Jeremy Renner, he's okay. He doesn't really do much for a scientist-y guy. I was expecting more from him, but really the main pillowstone of this film is Amy Adams. Actually, a lot of elements of this film reminded me of Contact, which is interesting, because there's a part that's in this film that's straight out of Contact. In the end, though, I'm going to give Arrival a 6 out of 7. It's an exceptionally well-made film. The shoot, after a while, that as much as I like the DOP's work in this film, it did get a bit annoying how everything was fuzzy in this film. And then the story itself is it's good. It's a Denis Villeneuve film where he takes something that you would think is kind of normal, a bit of one thing with an interesting quirk, and he takes it and he goes with it and makes something exceptional. Another fantastic film from this guy. I can't wait for the Blade Runner sequel, because this guy just keeps on proving to me that he's the perfect man for the job. I did enjoy it. You won't really want to rewatch it again. It is slow, but you will find it interesting as long as you open yourself up to it. So anyway, guys, that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you guys next time.